Alright, we are down to 4 pepper plants. Where'd they all go? Well, by the time this video came out, you guys already know where they went. And if you don't, then go click on the link in the description and find out exactly what happened to all 16 pepper plants. So far, we've got 4 of them left. So we've got 2 ghost peppers, one right there in the back, and then we've got a ghost pepper over on this side, and we've got 2 reaper peppers, front and center. And these guys are doing really well. They haven't put a whole lot of growth on since that last clip. They have put some on. Not a whole lot though, because they are officially root bound. So I need to get these guys potted up. Let's get them outside, and we're going to get them potted up into some nice potting soil. Maybe a 1-gallon pot right now. We'll move to 2 gallons later. But we'll get these guys going and see what they look like. Alright, so we're back and we've got all of our little pepper plants just potted up into 1-gallon pots, and boy, they look so much happier being in those 1-gallon pots. Now it's just day 1, so we're not going to see much of anything, but as those roots start getting going in those pots and they stretch out, these guys, these little tops here, should just start taking off like crazy. The only thing I haven't decided yet, I've got a couple plants in here, I think, one of them. This is that ghost pepper here, and it's got a little split trunk, split right down there at the base. So I want to leave that one the way it is. The rest of them are all single trunks, you can see. And I'm really considering topping the rest of them just a little bit, just nipping the top off. I haven't decided yet, but just to get some more branching going on. But that's what we've got for now. These things have been doing so well under that ViparSpectra grow light and that inside the Mars Hydro grow tent. This is a great setup. Oh, one more thing. I did turn this down a little bit. So this is 240 watts max. I turned it down with the little dimmer switch on the side to 200 watts. And I've actually noticed a little bit of a difference. These guys are starting to put on a little bit greener growth there near the top, and the growth just seems to not be so stressed like some of these leaves down here. I think it was just a lot of light in this tent. I may turn it down a little bit more, but we got 200 watts on there for now. So let's give it a little bit of time. I think today is January 25th. We'll see how these guys go, and I'll come back when they've put on some new growth. Let's do it. Alright, so it's been 3 weeks, and today is February 16th, and there's where these little pepper plants are at since we got them potted up into 1-gallon pots. And they haven't put on a ton of growth, but there are some things I want to talk about, a little bit of differences here, and then we're going to do something a little bit drastic. I finally made the decision. So, first things first, I turned down the light. I was realizing it was just too much light. This light puts out so much bright white light, and it's too much in this little grow tent, and I'm realizing that now. You could probably put that thing in a 3x3 grow tent. And if you're just trying to get vegetative growth on plants, you could probably put it in a 5x5 really, but there we go. That's what it's done in here. I had to turn it down. We're at 150 watts now. We started out at 240 watts. Here's the difference. Here's what it did. Now, since I turned it down, I noticed something. And if you guys have been following these videos, this little series of Carolina Reaper growing from the beginning, you'll remember I had a lot of this kind of blackened area on the leaves here, all over, all throughout these leaves, and I couldn't figure out. They looked real healthy, they were growing well, but I couldn't figure out what that black area was. Well, I now know exactly what it was, and it was the light. It was just too bright. They were growing well, but those leaves were just, they were saying, come on Mike, turn it down a little bit buddy. And when I did, the plant started stretching a little more, the leaves turned a more green, beautiful color, and they're looking much happier under a little bit less light. So you could get away with 150 watts in this tent, I'm sure. So there you go, there you have it so far. Now, one thing that I've noticed is kind of crazy. I thought it was a little early on, but we're already getting little pepper buds starting to grow on there. All of them. Every little plant has pepper buds growing off the top here. Look at this guy. Tons of them just starting to pop off at every little site. And I don't feel like they're mature enough yet to quite be at this point. I mean, I guess, you know, nature takes its course. I guess they're mature enough to do it if they're doing it. But what I would like to do now, because I've got these tall leaders here, is just prune them back. I'm going to hack them back, and you can see right here, down in here, we've got new growth that's coming up underneath the central leaders there. That was that ghost pepper. It had a couple shoots, but this one took off, and these guys are growing nicer and greener and healthier underneath that shade there. And then we've got these. Look at this. One tall central leader, and we've got nice green, beautiful growth underneath there. In fact, I probably could turn the lights down even more. Same with this. Look at that. One central leader there, and then we've got this beautiful growth. So I think I want to let all of that just branch out and bush out a whole bunch more, and then I'm going to water them a little bit more frequently. So here goes nothing. Don't get too mad. Oh, I know, Mark, we talked about doing a little bit of an experiment with this, but I just can't help myself. I want to see these things branch out more. Now, I know I told you guys I wasn't going to trim this ghost pepper, but I think I want to, just to force it to grow more branches on that one side, and we'll see what the other side does there. So there they are. We've got these guys trimmed back now. I'll get all this excess stuff out of here. We've got them trimmed back now. I'm really excited to see what these guys do, all this new green growth. I might turn the lights down even more to see if the branching and the leaves come out even healthier and greener looking, and I'm going to keep these guys watered a little more frequently. We'll give them some more time. We'll come back and see when something's happened. All right, one last thing I want to show you guys before we go. I just pulled these out to see what was going on with the roots, and check this out. These things have some massive root systems all through there. I mean, those are just awesome roots. I'm actually pretty amazed at how much these root systems have grown in these pots in just that 3-week period of time. Look at this one here. Look at that. This thing is out of control. I mean, these things really do need to get up potted again, but I'm kind of limited on space. I might up pot one more time. We'll see what happens. I just want to sit here and see how these guys do. I went ahead and trimmed back all the big leaves, as you can see, and we'll see what these guys do in these pots for a little while now that we've pruned them back. So it's March 15th today. It's been almost a month since we did that last update, and here are the pepper plants. I know I've been kind of dragging this one out for you guys, but these guys are growing slower and slower as we go. But you can see the difference now in how far they've come in a month since we pruned them all back. We've got a lot more growth in here with these guys, a lot more branching going on, and as you can see, they're starting to flower again. In fact, they were already starting to bud up and flower in that last shot before I clipped them off, but now they're really starting to put on these little flower buds, and we're definitely going to have peppers if I let this continue on, which I think I'm going to have to do. But you can see all these little plants have little flower buds in here. Look at that. They're all going to be flowering out here shortly, but this one especially, for some reason, the ghost pepper, has really been putting on these little flower buds heavily. So I want to show you something real quick. First of all, I did end up turning this light down. I went from 200 watts down to 150 watts in pretty short amount of time, within a few days after I clipped all these guys back. That 150 watts was just a lot better for them in this grow tent. In fact, I think I could probably get away with 100 watts in this grow tent. These lights are just turning out to be absolutely fantastic. Another thing, why are these little guys, they're not real big. They haven't been alive for real long yet, but they're already flowering out. And like I said, a month ago they were flowering out. And I think a lot of that is attributed to all of the red coloring in the LED lights that they've got going on here, which just really encourages flowering in plants. And so these guys are already wanting to produce peppers. I think if you had a light that was more geared towards the higher Kelvin range, around 6,000, 6,500, somewhere in there for the temperature, the color, you know, more blue light, I think you would find that they would do a lot more vegetative growth. But these things are already wanting to pump on these peppers here on these plants, and I'm just going to let them do their thing. But I want to show you something real quick. So like I said, it's been about a month since we did that last little clip. I want to pull one of these out now. I didn't end up potting them yet, and those roots were already filling the tubs, but let's take a look here. Dang, man, I haven't looked at this yet. This is the first time with you guys, but those roots are just filling in those spaces. I mean, there is nowhere else for this plant to grow. I think these things would grow much larger if I had much larger pots for them, but definitely awesome. Fantastic root systems on this Reaper. I'm going to pull up one of these ghost peppers and just see what they look like. Oh man, these things are definitely getting root bound. Look at that, isn't that cool? All the way down in there. Just huge root system. You can see them start swirling around. It's alright. These guys are doing okay in here now, but definitely need to get up potted. I should probably put them into 2 or 3 gallon pots now and let them continue to grow. And in fact, I could probably take a razor and just kind of cut through some of those roots just to keep them from continuing the circling of the pots. But man, these things are so healthy and growing so well in this grow tent with these grow lights. I'm really impressed how well they're doing. And like I said, this thing at max is 240 watts. I'll bet we could go down to 100 watts now. I'm at 150 and they're growing really well and already fruiting. So I think that's it for now. I better get this video up for you guys because I know some of you really are curious how these peppers are doing. I definitely want to get these up potted into bigger pots so we can see what they'll do now that they're going to start fruiting. I want to see if, I don't want to hinder the fruit. I want to see if they'll put on more fruit and nice, good quality fruit, but I think we're going to need bigger pots to allow these things to really stretch their feet out and be able to absorb more nutrients. So we're going to call it for now, and I'll continue filming this for you guys and show you where it goes in the end. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, come back and see where these things take off within the next few weeks or month or however long it takes them to do whatever they're going to do. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you in the next video. Adios!